Okay, first of all, at our meeting of today, if we open our meeting, we have no guests, so we'll start with our minutes of April 21st. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as said?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Okay. Any additions or corrections? I have none this week. Anybody else have anything? Anything to add?
Actually, this is Brenda. At some point, I don't have it in front of me, but at some point it said Brenda made mention that it was too late for this legislative session. Aaron, do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to find it here. I don't see it.
Near the end, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think I said that. I don't think it was me because I don't know when the legislative session starts and ends. I know somebody brought it up, but it wasn't me.
Right, Karen,
I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean,
Karen,
it wasn't.
Karen, you're aware of that word? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, yes, under the Hartford report.
Yeah, I'm like, I did not.
Karen, if you just erase that last sentence, Brenda, it was too late.
I'm pretty sure somebody did bring it up, but it wasn't me.
Yeah. Okay, we'll just take it out.
The ghost from Hartford.
I'm sorry?
The ghost from Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ghost from Hartford, yeah. Okay. Okay, all those in favor of the minutes as accepted, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Very good. Thank you very, very much. Okay, the treasurer's report. Mr. Treasurer, Are you there, Mr. Charlie? Where are you hiding?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to read the, I wrote it down so I can.
Yeah, I think everybody has it. The question is,
Yeah, okay.
I'll ask
Okay, there hasn't been any changes. Yeah, there hasn't been any changes. We made $1.90 in interest between the two accounts. The 11th month matured. We decided at the last meeting we were just going to let it roll over again, and that's it. Our ending balance is $11,134.07. I'm sorry, I can't. Is that 7 cents? Okay, sorry, I can't see it. I don't have my glasses.
No problem.
That was in the combined CDs, and then our working cash is $5,027.96.
Well, since Dave Renniger showed up, he can make a motion that we accept it based on the audit.
I'm so moved.
So moved.
I'll
Second? Any questions, comments, additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Very good. Okay, moving on now to town reports. Bloomfield, any comments from Bloomfield?
Nothing new.
Nothing new?
Nothing new.
No.
Nothing to add? No one wants to add anything to Bloomfield?
No, does nobody have anything to add, or?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, moving on to East Hartford.
Actually, I do have something new.
Oh.
We are now online. We are not streaming, but we do have video on demand, courtesy of the East Hartford Town Council.
God bless.
We will be streaming eventually once we get the server in place. So yeah, we're starting to. We've got the meetings that we've covered live so far out there, and we are building our library, slowly adding the older meetings. But so yeah, now there is we can go view our prior meetings.
Very good. God bless. Hopefully it works out well for you. I'm sure it will. Yeah. Most towns are doing that, so that's very great. Good.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was the town council that wanted it, so they're funding it, so.
Good. Oh, the town council's funding it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, if you need Comcast, Mr. Matt is here. You just jump on him and ask him for help.
Yeah, no, we're good. Seems to be working. I checked it out the other day.
Good. Okay. No one here from Hartford, so there's no report from Hartford. Simsbury, Karen, do you want to say something about Simsbury?
There's really not too much new. I think the main thing right now is that we're going to be exploring the concept of going live from the Performing Arts Center for the high school graduation.
High school graduation, yeah. The only thing I have in reference to Simsbury, and it will come under the chair's report, but I'll give it here instead. And Karen and I talked about it earlier. Some people asked why a lot of the towns have their town committees on their channel, showing the meetings because they're all Zoom. And someone asked why HACTAC does that, because we're a 6-town committee, but we're supposed to be quote unquote an important committee for the people in reference to have TV. And Karen said she hasn't recorded it in the past and therefore couldn't do it in Simsbury, which we are now being recorded tonight. We're going to try it. Now, if some other town wants it, Karen, can they get that film from you?
Yes.
So if any other TV wants to put HACTAC on as a meeting, they can get a hold of Karen and she'll get you a copy of the film. So, okay. Any other thing in West Simsbury? Nothing else. Okay, West Hartford. Who's going to talk about West Hartford?
Raj,
Yes.
I can do the first thing on Jen's note and you can do the second. She said third, fourth, and fifth weren't really as important.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
Or do you want me to do them both?
Yeah. Go right ahead.
Okay. She sent Roger and I a quick note. May is Asian American Heritage Month. Programs we're doing include 2 Friday night Know Our Story panels. We did a teen panel last Friday night at 7, and an adult panel runs this Friday at 7. And we'll also feature a live virtual story time with the international award-winning children's author, May Lee. That'll be May 25th at 6:30. We're also doing parent university collaboration with West Hartford Public Schools, summer 2021, keeping our children growing and healthy together. So it's a collaborative effort. It's a multi-workshop choice virtual program designed to provide parents and caretakers with educational information, practical tools, and resources intended to support the health and well-being of children during the summer months. Each workshop is 30 minutes and participants may attend 3 sessions of interest to them.
Huh.
So we're excited about that.
That's interesting. That's a new program, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a relatively new within our Board of Education, our education department.
Yeah.
There is a new office now of equity advancement.
That's right.
There's a woman who's running that now who's really excellent. Her first name is Roseanne, and she's doing a really great job.
Good.
I think you're going to hear a lot more about that over time.
Good. Very good. Very interesting. Very good.
Yep. Okay.
All right, I didn't mean to cut you off, Candace, but that's good. That's good.
No,
news.
that's okay. That's okay. We're just, this year, our Memorial Day parade has been canceled, so we're going to do another virtual ceremony.
Join the group.
And June, we enter the graduations. So Jen is covering those for us. And I think we've added some car parades so that the kids get more together time.
You did that last year, I think, didn't you, Roger?
Yeah, I can't remember. There was one, but whether it was related to graduation or not. But this is going to be a cool one.
Yeah,
it's on
I think so.
June 13th.
Good.
Yep. And then the final thing is we've got a big Juneteenth ceremony planned, which I don't have many of the details on. I'm going to get them. I don't know if you do, Roger. Do you?
Yeah, no, I do not have too much on that. Part of it's going to be an MLK ceremony, and then there's a bunch of work going on towards the there are several events in town on Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Yes.
I think a lot of towns do that. In fact, Simsbury has done quite a bit with the MLK program now in front of the old library. And we just approved 300 acres of tobacco property up in the other side of town. And they're talking about putting a monument up there for MLK also. So that's very, very interesting that's going on. So, good.
So that is West Hartford.
There's some pretty neat history with MLK and in Simsbury working tobacco years and years ago, so which is really cool.
Yeah. I remember. I was there. No, it's interesting. I was Karen, I don't know if she remembers, but I was a police officer in Simsbury back in those days, and they had a boarding house where in the summertime all the would come in. The African Americans would come in and live in this boarding house, and we had to have a police officer there every Friday and weekends because cars would just come in, women would be coming and driving and looking for, and so on and so forth. So we had, and Martin Luther King was in there, and he came out one night and came to the shed where I was and said, "I haven't met you yet. I want to meet you. You're an officer protecting us tonight. I want to know who you are." And I said, "Excuse me, who the hell are you?" I didn't know him. And he said, well, I'm Martin Luther King. I said, oh, nice to meet you, so on and so forth. Well, then, he was just another guy. He was an average guy. He was a nice guy. He was very, very super. And then all of a sudden, after the history, I said, oh, my God, I met him personally, and look what he is today.
Wow.
That was great. Really great. But no, the Simsbury's done a nice job with the I don't know if you've seen the location of the old library. They did a nice little pathway down there, and it's
Yes.
working out well. And I hopefully when up to the 300 acres, they put up a nice monument there. It's well deserved. So, any other
Great.
comments on West Hartford?
That should do it.
Oh, very good. Patricia, welcome aboard. Just jumped in here a minute ago. I didn't see her. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Okay. Windsor. Who
Yeah,
wants to report on Windsor?
Okay. I'm trying to read this here. Okay. See, we've got Win TV is doing KidVid, which begins June 21st. 6 full weeks of TV and film production. As you're already aware, because of the COVID situation, we are at a limited amount of people that are going to be allowed to be coming in. The studio will be closed to production for the summer because of KidVid. There's still a busy summer with field production things like concerts on the green. We're also working on things where we're trying to get some of the sports lined up for some of the summer sports like the midget football and so on. Or I don't even know if that's the proper term you should use anymore. I mean, not trying to make a joke or anything, because, and the other term is not appropriate, but little kids football. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. Then the last thing is we're looking for grant or funding to upgrade our old Comcast signal modulators or injectors to be fully HD ready. If we are ever given HD channels, it will cost between $9,000 to $15,000 to do the upgrade. West Hartford, Simsbury, and Hartford have all recently been upgraded, and that is all I have.
Okay, Matt could answer that when you talk to him. But any other comments, Windsor? Any questions? Those are towns reports. Does anybody have any questions or comments on their towns?
Yes, I want to know, I heard that Massachusetts was able to get their high definition stations without giving up their lower channels.
All right, well, Matt will be on in a few minutes. We can talk to Matt about that.
I can answer that.
He can answer. There he is. He's jumping on.
So that's not accurate. For the most part, they do. There are different parts of the state where, or for Massachusetts in particular, where those negotiations, they're kind of treated as I guess on a town-by-town basis, but franchises are negotiated at a town-by-town level there, and so it tends to be something ferreted out throughout the negotiation. For the most part, if there is an HD upgrade, which is something that we don't typically do in our region, they tend to do it over in the greater Boston region. They do recoup 2 SD channels or say you have 2 SD channels being provided, they recoup that for the HD just due to the fact that it takes up so much bandwidth on our actual network for channels. So
unbelievable.
Hope that helps.
You're supposed to be the top ones at Comcast. Why can't do it here if they can do it somewhere else?
It's just something we typically, if there is any type of HD activity going on, we reclaim a channel as a part of that, because it takes up extra bandwidth for our channel lineups, and we only have so much space that we can work with when we're having to deal with every single channel that we provide.
All right.
So I guess I'm a little confused. Are you saying that it's negotiated town by town, or is it your standard?
Yes. So in Massachusetts, franchises it's apples and oranges scenario for Massachusetts versus Connecticut. But their franchising is done on a town by town, like basically the way they used to do it, or this group used to do it years ago as a part of the negotiation process.
Right.
But they do, for the most part, give up SD channel space in exchange for an HD channel if that is negotiated and agreed upon.
So when it comes to us, when you talk about negotiating, you will be negotiating with HACTAC as a group that's representing all of these towns collectively, or?
It was done historically. No. It was done. Now with the statewide franchising, that type of negotiation doesn't take place anymore.
Right. Yeah, HACTAC right now is an advisory council for the 6 towns, only because it was put in place many, many, many years ago. But technically and legally, HACTAC doesn't have the influence that it had back 10 years ago. Is that right, Matt?
For the most part.
Most part.
That's very disheartening because it seems
is.
like without that same level of authority, then our towns do not have the same benefits that they once had.
No, the towns will not have to do it legally through their.
I'd like to, if possible, clarify, most towns in Massachusetts don't have HD PEG programming. So
Towns today have to do anything to do with the cable TV, telephone, so on and so forth. If there's an issue, they have to run it through their state representatives now, more so than running it through what we call the advisory councils. So the advisory councils in a couple of years, once the franchises are up, most likely, I've seen you heard me say this before, most likely will be gone. There won't be an advisory council. Yes, Alan.
Yeah, the state advisory, the state video advisory council has some influence, not much more, but they represent all the towns in the state. So if there's an issue, it could come through that way too.
Right. Okay.
Matt,
Any other town? Hold on. Any other town issues, Charlie?
I just have a question. This is something that was brought up quite a while ago, and since Matt's here, maybe he can help me out. I was just wondering, when Channel 3 has a program that's on, it's listed on the channel guide. And then when they have to make a change for a special event or something like that, how do they actually make that channel guide? Do they do it themselves, or do they submit the changes to you guys and you guys make the change, or do they do it themselves?
So the channel guide is managed at a very high level nationally, and then it'll boil down some programming at a regional level, but we don't, when it comes to specific or particularized content channels that are specific to a municipality or an area, we can't the technology is not there to actually label it on our IPG due to the fact that.
Could you tell me what does that stand for?
Sorry, IPG. It's our channel, like the channel guide you're talking about, the map that shows up on your TV that says programming. It'll say public access programming or anything like that. When it comes to these bigger channels, like say it's ABC or that affiliate, and the reason why it's particularized like that is because we distribute that content out at a national level, whereas the region specific or town specific that we're talking about now for Windsor is something that is not, we typically don't put on the IPG due to the fact that the mapping is, or I guess the back end of it is so complicated and convoluted to actually have people see that detailed programming. And I understand I'm assuming there's some frustration with that, but unfortunately, because of the fact that this is so regional and local based, it's something that's difficult.
Yeah, Candace.
I have a question. 100 years ago, I was a program director at a television station in Boston. And one of my primary things was to get that program schedule correct in, I'll date myself, TV Guide. And I stayed a little bit longer when the information got automated. But local stations always submitted their own schedules directly to a certain organization, which I'm sure has changed 100 times. And I've never understood why cable channels are not offered the same opportunity that local stations, just as he was suggesting, Channel 3 do it. Because they get their local shows in that have nothing to do with the network.
That's right.
Exactly.
Or is it?
I brought this question up simply for the fact that this is being recorded, and I thought that it might give it a little bit of meat for the local, for anyone that's watching.
Yeah, so basically how it works is programming from, content on channel lineups comes from head ends, which serve multiple communities, which I'm sure some of you are definitely aware of because you work with the head end multiple times whenever there's types of issues. And so if there's a head end that's, say, based out of Bloomfield, we carry we carry, specific programming content for non-unique channels. So like, again, like the ABCs, like the whatever channel that's distributed nationally. Those are distributed throughout the entire, or basically all communities served by that particular head end in this case. And the issue with unique channels, which are specific to towns, it's distributed only to a specific town, and not all customers in these towns that are served by the same head end actually are able, it's just so specific, they're unique to that specific community. And the reconfiguration that would be required to be done as far as the distribution mechanism with that guide data for the specific communities would come at a significant cost. And so that's the background as to why it does not take place.
And when you say significant costs, I mean, I hate to say this, but what kind of costs are you talking about to get the infrastructure in place? Or has it even been looked at?
For every community that Comcast serves throughout the entire country, it's this massive cost. I don't know, that's significantly above my pay grade.
Well, you can't do it in individual areas, is what you're saying, Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That answer your question, Charlie?
Close enough.
Yeah.
I have another question for Matt.
Go ahead, Peaches.
Hey, Matt, who can we contact about the programming? Who can
Meaning,
we talk to about that?
I'm confused. Like, programming on your local channel would probably be your local.
Yeah,
Well, not just the local channel, but I mean, just overall. It just seems like, so each, well, I guess that's my question. Does each, like say CBS, CW, they all handle their own programming?
Yes.
And send a schedule to you?
So we pay them to put them on our channel lineup, and those contracts are negotiated between the programming group,
Right.
in this example, CBS and us. And the same goes for every single cable provider.
Okay. All right, thanks.
In
And
other
then-
words, we can't pick a channel to just show a certain program on it, Patricia. It has to go through CBS or NBC or whoever runs the.
No, that's
runs the
fine.
program.
I was trying to figure it out because this is the issue I see, and I don't know if anybody else has this issue, but I will go to tape something, on the VCR or whatever, and a program that I want to watch. It gets interrupted by some breaking news or whatever, and instead of recording the program, it records whatever the breaking news or whatever the interruption is. And I remember years ago that it's not doing that. So that's part of two of where my question's coming from. So I guess it's up to me to contact all the stations.
All the providers, not the stations.
Yeah, the providers.
To the stations, right? Any other comments? Townwide? Okay, Matt, basically it's company report time. You kind of talked a little bit, quite a bit. You want to add anything else you want to add that you didn't tell us?
So just a couple of good news stories. Our Lift Zone initiative is something we're doing in our communities throughout the country. It's a way for us to provide some internet connectivity to students, community members who need access to internet, and providing as many spaces with this new environment that we're dealing with as possible with nonprofit and community partners. So what we typically do is work with a nonprofit group or somewhere that assists some type of educational initiative throughout our footprint. And what we do is come in, take a survey of the location. Hopefully it's a place that has like access to computer labs or something of that nature. And then what we do is, either boost up their internet or Wi-Fi access points and provide a working hub at no cost to the third party nonprofit partner to basically provide a place for students or anybody in some type of educational initiative to have that connectivity that they need in order to continue their education. So I'm going to send a email with the press announcement with more details on that. But the initiative is taking place over 3 years, but we're cooking with gas locally. So it's been a great initiative to be a part of.
Matt?
Yep.
When you say that you're cooking with gas locally, do you have a breakdown based on the towns what organizations within each town is utilizing this?
I mean, there's parts of majority of for this location would be Hartford, but we're open to working with any organizations like the YWCA we're working with, the YMCAs of I believe New Britain we're working with. But there's for our size of the region, we're like the smallest region in the business itself. We've got close to 20 between our every state, or no, I believe we would have closer to 30 with every state that we serve. And that includes, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, but a significant portion of that is in Connecticut. I don't have a list of addresses and groups to provide you now, but I do know that with the amount of work that goes into it, soup to nuts, from getting the place surveyed to the work with the installation to actually figuring out the logistical side of things, in the amount of time we've had over the last 3 or 4 months, it's been significant progress. So that's why I said cooking with gas.
Yeah, I heard it's basically with the major cities that you're doing it more so than the smaller towns.
No, we're working with someone in the northwest corner.
Good.
Like there's all sorts of, like, it's just whatever partners it works for, we're happy to work with.
Good.
So if you have any referrals or anything like that, feel
I
free.
was just going to say, any referrals that each town have, can contact you and you can then pass it on to the people that are programming these?
I mean, even if you wanted to shoot me an email, say this group here, like a link to the website, I'm happy to reach out and be.
But can you send us more information so that we can try and ascertain what groups might be eligible for this? I mean, because if you're cooking with gas, we want to be part of that.
And you're more than welcome to. I'm sharing with you that information. I'm not going to give you a list of groups that we're working with throughout our region.
No, I'm looking
for nonprofits like the YMCA, YWCA.
Yeah. No, that's not what I'm looking for, Matt. What I'm looking for is a list so that we can know the eligibility requirements for in order to qualify for this.
Yes, and that'll be sent in the follow-up email that I have teed up for you guys.
Okay. Alan?
Yeah, while Matt's here, I just wanted to bring up on the statewide video advisory council.
You're next, but you want to do it now?
Well, yeah, because it goes in with Matt. But
okay.
At the last HACTAC meeting, the question came up on why all the nonprofit stations are paying sales tax.
Oh, yeah.
And I brought that up at the statewide video advisory meeting, and Brad Palazzo was there from Comcast.
Yeah.
Right? And he was going to look into it. I kind of dropped the ball. I haven't heard from him. I recently emailed him to ask him if he had a chance to look into it on why nonprofits are paying sales tax. I don't know if you have anything on that.
That originated here. We started asking Alan to ask the statewide because we didn't think that local. But Matt, you're here. If you have a comment to make on that, it'd be great. So,
I mean, just the fact that a nonprofit exists doesn't, I guess, eliminate any tax specific liability. But I can say on, excuse me.
Pat, Patricia?
Yes, it does. If you have a 501c3 or something, or you have a form from the IRS or tax exempt, you can bring it any store anywhere.
Beforehand, I would have been able to let you know that if you have documentation, you can go through a process internally with us. So, more than happy to work. As I said in the email to you, Dick, about a month ago, I'm more than happy to work with anybody who wanted to or is raising this question. I just did not get any feedback on that.
Okay, so it's open again that any station who wants to file a claim that they don't want to pay the sales tax, contact
I'm happy to facilitate a process of getting you in contact with the right group to do that, but that's not my specific role.
No, but contact Matt, and Matt will put it on to the right person.
Well, let me ask you something. Could Matt just give us could Matt email to us the person we should contact? Because I bet we all would like to pursue this.
Yes, we would.
I think it's easier if he could just tell us who to get in touch with. Then he doesn't get 100 emails from us.
Well, I'd much rather it the other way around because I have to then send it to a distribution list with a team. I can't have external people sending emails to the distribution list of non-customer facing people. And I apologize for the frustration, but I think it'd just be much easier to work with it on a case-by-case basis, just due to the fact that I can't share an internal distribution list.
All right, so the key is if you have a question, you want to do that, you send the email to Matt. Matt will then get back to you with the name of the person, the contact, or he will email that person. That person will contact you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
Okay, Matt, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right, Alan, you have anything else you want to report? Do you want to talk a little bit about that Connecticut anniversary party or what they're having? Alan?
Yeah, what about it?
Isn't the state, you sent a note saying the state's having some kind of a program?
I
No?
don't think I did.
No? Okay. All right. I just want to double check. I thought something came through that they were having a ceremony or something. I just wanted to know if you wanted to add to it.
No.
Okay.
I sent out an email about speaking with Brad, and he was going to look into it. The nonprofits paying sales tax.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, each town can do what he said. Just get Matt and we'll go from there.
And I'll pass that along to the state advisory board too.
Okay. All right. Committee reports. We have none. Chair report. The only thing I report is that we got as always, got a letter from Lord and Locke, or Locke and Lord, the attorneys for Comcast, to the state of Connecticut, the PURA, stating the program advisory that they, effective the March 9th, they're changing no longer available certain stations, and that's open to the public, and you all know that. So that's the only record I have. Matt, you want to add to that at all? Anything new to that or that?
No, I mean, if there's questions, I can try to address it, but the programming contracts are negotiated regularly, and there's changes that take place.
Yeah, they were just saying that, for instance, Cartoon Network will no longer be available to kids anymore. Is that one of the programs, I guess?
I mean, that's not what it says, but certain tiers, Cartoon Network will not be available in, and if we re-tier things in Connecticut.
It would not be available regular, it would be available on digital only.
Yes.
That particular one. Yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm moving on. Complaints. The only complaints I had was a number of phone calls, and I turn over Matt, and I have to say Matt does a good job replacing them. In the last month, I think I had one about somebody didn't have TV. You want to know why Comcast wasn't out there fixing the cable? Well, the trees were down across all the wires, and I'm sure they don't get to do cables until the electric gets done first. But other than that, I haven't any written complaints this month. Anybody have any complaints you want to add to Matt while he's here? And again, Matt has joined us at least once a year, but it'd be nicer, Matt, if you join us more often. It's nice to have you around to ask questions. But moving on, any old business?
Thanks, Matt.
Any?
Could I chime in for a second, because I gave like a half a name when we were talking about the equity advancement area, and her full name is Dr. Rosina Haskins, and she is involved with that department, or a special department now within the education department in West Hartford. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Any new business?
I have one thing that I would like to add so that everybody can take this back to their access stations if they do not already know this, that PURA has launched a new filing system, Easy File, that you need to register for. You need to, I guess, get a code that's going to come through the snail mail in order to activate certain things in the new system. So if you're looking to do a filing anytime soon, you better start working on getting your new login, your password for the new Easy File system. That's it. That's all I have.
To follow up with Karen on that, it's not exactly easy as far as the easy filing goes, but
I'm just calling it by their name.
It's ironic that it has that name. But I know recently there was an issue where they weren't taking filings at this time, so just be leery when you do sign up. It may take a while for things to be generated.
It does.
Yeah.
I heard from some other places.
Friendly warning to you all.
Good. Okay. Next meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 16th. I assume we'll do a Zoom at this point still. Places are still kind of not open, but it's hopefully through the summer places will open. So we'll go June 16th. We'll go Zoom, start at 6 o'clock as normal. People mark their calendars. And July and August, we normally don't have meetings. We don't meet in July or August, but we have a so-called dinner meeting. And maybe in August we can do that this year. Maybe things will now be open 100%. And Charlie or somebody, we can look into, we used to go Kinney Park in Hartford. That seems to be a pretty good place. So we had a dinner there, a very brief buffet kind of thing that we take care of it for our Christmas event. And then we also did it in the summertime. So we might want to do that this August, but just sort of put that in your calendars. Keep August open for maybe having a dinner program somewhere. But our July program.
What would be the date on that? I can look into it tomorrow.
There's nothing to look into at this point because it'll be August. Got to wait to see if they're going to be open. They're not even open yet, are they?
Oh yeah, they're open. They never close.
Well, it'd be the third week of August.
Okay.
August 18th. August 18th.
August 18th.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, and that's again open, and we'll see what happens at that time, and we go from there. Okay. Any other comments? Anything else? Hearing none, I want to thank you all very, very much for being here. I want to thank you very much for getting back to us, letting you know that you were going to be here so we know that we can come on and hopefully do the same thing again. But I also say to you that anything you need or want, please don't be afraid to email me or contact me. And I then, of course, contact Matt. And I have to say thank you, Matt. You've done things in this past year for us so far. Hopefully we can continue in. But again, thank each and every one of you for doing what you do in your town and keep us happy. Patricia, you had a comment?
No, I'm good.
Oh, I saw the light up. I thought you were going to say something. Anybody else want to make any comments before we close out?
Nope.
Hearing none, I move that we adjourn. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn? So motion made and second. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice night and take care. And
You too. Thank you.
sign off. Thank you. Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Take care.